Here's Brody Brazil.
So this video has one main theme, but a bunch of different points. I don't know if they're connected or if they're in order or if they even make sense together, but I'm about to address potential regret over the Howard Terminal site, project, idea, emotions, enthusiasm. Like, we all got pretty invested in Howard Terminal, and maybe someday it will exist with a baseball stadium or something else there. I have no clue at this point. But seeing where the A's process is right now with Major League Baseball, seeing how Las Vegas has truly entered the conversation in a prominent fashion, do I regret looking at Howard Terminal as a priority for this team, even versus the Coliseum site in general? So that's kind of the focus of this video. Let me tell you some regrets I have with Howard Terminal. There always should have been a LITE version of the project, suggested, detailed, and diagrammed out. What you just saw there was the full build. The hotels, the office buildings, the residential, the real estate, the parks. There was a lot to it. It was a $12 billion concept, but you only get to that number when it's fully built out over time. Look at Oracle Park. Remember Pac Bell Park in San Francisco? As of right now, it's starting to get, finally, 20 plus years surrounded with development and high-rise buildings. Remember, there used to just be parking lots at Pac Bell Park for so many years. And in fact, a lot of parking lots. I think Giants fans, some of them, might miss those parking opportunities. But they started with just the ballpark. The neighborhood took care of building itself around the ballpark. And now the team and that land, they're investing in the next phases of that project. But the A's wanted this to be fully built out from the get-go, instead of over time, in phases, and it could have been achieved in phases. A LITE version would have been, hey, just get the ballpark here. Land the team here. Parking lots, fine. We'll build the rest out over time. More buildup equaled more complications, and even still, a lot of this got approvals by the city of Oakland, the BCDC, an environmental impact report. It went through all of that and ultimately came down to money and negotiation and not an actual roadblock. But there should have been a LITE version of the project that was easier to get people's thumbs up on. I don't regret putting Howard Terminal on a pedestal. Like I said before, I always prioritized it over building something new at the Coliseum site, or even like the idea of fixing up the Coliseum. That is a pipe dream. That is an old structure built 22 feet below the ground. That's a hard one to make come back to life. But building something else on the Coliseum site, it was very much prominent, very much mentioned the entire time. I always thought you had to take your first and best shot for the waterfront. You had to at least try this out in a serious fashion, with the Coliseum always being the ripcord on the parachute, right? When you're ready to pull the parachute, this is not going well, the ground's getting a little bit too close here, pull the parachute, go to the Coliseum site. But this project at Howard Terminal, like I said before, it achieved city and county and BCDC approvals. It just never got to the shake hands on the money part and the offsite infrastructure part. And there was needed the development agreement, but it also needed a community benefits package, which was a little prickly from what we understand. But the thought of Jack London Square existing just south of this project, and the ferry terminal was already there, and there were some challenges to overcome, ingress, egress, all that stuff. But this site still had so many perfect things towards it. I don't regret prioritizing Howard Terminal in terms of being in front of the Coliseum at all, and I hope nobody else does as part of this. But here's what I do regret. The Coliseum, I said it was supposed to be that ripcord. It never became an official backup option. Coliseum site's 155 acres. And a couple years ago, it cost the A's $85 million to buy the county's half. That's right, the A's own half of the Coliseum site. And during their purchase, they literally said it was a plan B to assure the future of baseball and the A's in Oakland. It's going to be the backup site. They said that. But there's nothing contractually that says, well, if you buy this half, you have to build here if Howard Terminal didn't work out. No. This is hindsight is 2020 here. And this was on the county of Alameda to put that in writing. They didn't. So the A's are not obligated to that. They're not obligated to even selling their half of the land, even if and after they move. The only thing they're obligated for is to pay off $45 million instantly if they move after next season. They've already paid 40 of 85. They're on the hook within like 90 days, 120 days, as soon as they officially announce that they're moving. Some people, like I said, have suggested this. Should they forfeit the site, forfeit their ownership, and not to pay any back more, just return the money, take back the ownership, give it to Alameda County, give it to whoever, some government entity. But should they have been forced to forfeit the site if they decided to relocate? Doesn't matter now. It's not in writing. But was that a misstep by Alameda County? 55 acres that almost nobody got to visit. That's something else I regret. I mean, I couldn't change that, but I wish that went differently for Howard Terminal. I'm somebody who got to walk the land, walk the site entirely. September of 2019, granted full access, did interviews there, a full site tour, could look at anything I wanted. And being there, like, not only energized me, I was already favoring the project, but it really became tangible when you're there. The sights, the views, the understanding of how this could work, what needed to happen surrounding it. But so many people in the general public, they still don't even actually know where Howard Terminal is or what it's doing. You heard all that pushback from different entities about, the port is still in use. What if we end up reusing Howard Terminal again? You can't. The estuary at that point is not deep enough or big enough for modern container ships. You can use it as storage, but you can use other places as storage too. Like the Port of Oakland just acquired in the last couple decades a ton of extra land right by the Bay Bridge Toll Plaza site. It's a former Army base over there. But most people never, like, I'm telling you, if and maybe the A's didn't do enough outreach on this. Find a way to bring people, show people Howard Terminal. If you are a detractor of Howard Terminal, if you're in city government, bring people to Howard Terminal a bunch. It was hard for the public to grasp this. And some people who I don't even say they were opposing it, they just didn't care as much because they never saw it. I regret that about Howard Terminal, that still almost nobody has actually seen it in real life. I regret that Major League Baseball never stepped in and never did anything publicly to get behind Howard Terminal. The plans by the A's and the city and the county, those took years. All that time, though, MLB never commented or quoted on Howard Terminal. Oh, time's running out in Oakland. That's all they would say. How about push positively for this site? Have some influence in the same way that you pushed for parallel paths. What was Major League Baseball doing this entire time? Like the A's spent $100 million, they say, on pushing Howard Terminal forward, and Major League Baseball never threw their weight behind that? Why? How? The A's could have used all the support and resources that they would have got over the years. Why was there never a Rob Manfred site visit at Howard Terminal? I mean, he's never coming to Oakland in the Coliseum, but if you really wanted to push it, why not come to Howard Terminal? Let baseball see what you could do there. I also regret that the Coliseum, I mean, it's been proven adequate, but it's never been an exceptional site. Where it's at, how it's really landlocked, it's in an industrial area. No matter what you do on those 155 acres, I don't know that it's drastically going to change onward and outward and better the community for it. It's going to exist in its isolated little bubble where it's at. And I equate the Coliseum site and Howard Terminal as the difference between a motel and a resort. The resort being Howard Terminal, the motel being the Coliseum site. But here's the deal. A motel is fine. If there's no better options and you're the A's and you're thinking about moving town and you got nowhere else to sleep, so to speak, you need to spend a couple nights somewhere, stay at the motel. It may not offer every single amenity, but the motel's going to be just fine. You'll live. The whole Howard Terminal or bust comment, I wish the bust part was the Coliseum and nowhere else. So do I regret Howard Terminal? Do I regret putting my, influence and opinions behind it? No, I don't. But there are some elements that I wish went differently. Hey, thumbs up on this video since you made it here at the end. And don't forget, subscribe to the channel so I can definitely see you back here next time.